Good evening, everyone. Today is the 25th of January, 2024. I've entitled this video, I'm going to put out a challenge to all of those people, who say they are Arminian in doctrine, to all those people who say that they do not believe in, I've often been labeled a Calvinist. I'm not a Calvinist. I've read a little bit of John Calvin in his Institutes of Christian Religion, and there's quite a bit I agree with, but there's a lot I disagree with too. But I'm going to give you some words, and I'm going to throw out a challenge tonight. I'm going to see if I can get my wife to get me a cup of coffee. I'm going to throw out a challenge tonight. I want you to do a word study. I'm going to give you a list of words. This is your assignment. And I want you to be intellectually honest with me. After you've gone through and studied all these words in the Bible, I want you to come back and tell me you still believe in free will. Okay? Now, a number of years ago, I wrote this book. I've told you about it before. I wrote this book back in 2017, The Lies of Free Will. Do you control your own destiny? Do you believe you can pick yourself up by your bootstraps? Do you believe you can control your own destiny by your own choices and by your own free will? So here's some of the words I'm going to give you to look up. I want you to look up the word ordained. Ordained. O-R-D-A-I-N-E-D. Also, I want you to look up the word foreordained. F-O-R-E-O-R-D-A-I-N-E-D. Ordained and foreordained. Okay? I also want you to look up the word sheep. Sheep. I also want you to look up the word elect. E-L-E-C-T. Elect. And I also want you to look up the word election. Election. I want you to look up the word foreknowledge. Foreknowledge. F-O-R-E-K-N-O-W-L-E-D-G-E. Foreknowledge. I also want you to look up the word predestination. And predestinate. And predestinated. Predestination, predestinate, and predestinated. I also want you to look up the word wolves, W-O-L-V-E-S. I want you to look up the word, or the group of words, vessels of wrath, vessels of wrath. I also want you to look up the word vessels of honor, vessels of honor. I hope you're writing this stuff down. I also want you to look up the word now you might have to do a little bit of you might have to find a good word study directory to find some of these words and how they're used in the Bible, but that's my charge to you, to do that. I mean, I could give them to you, but I don't think that would be helpful to you, would it? I want you to look up providence. Providence. Yes, it's in the Bible. You'll find it. It's in Acts 24:2. Providence. Okay. Provision. Okay. Provision. Provided. Provided. provideth and providing. Look up those words because they have to do with providence as well. Also, I want you to look up the word foundation and foundation of the world. Foundation and foundation of the world. Inheritance. Look up the word inheritance. And also look up the word strong delusion. Strong delusion. You say, well, why are you coming up with all these words? There's a reason. There's a reason. I mean, I've had quite a number of years of study in the Bible, and there's a reason I'm giving you these particular words. You know? I want you to look up the word grace. Yes. Not common grace. That's not in the Bible. Grace. Grace. Reserved. Reserved. Look up the word reserved. Look up the word reprobate. Reprobate. I want you to look up the word I want you to look up the passage Hebrews 12:2. Hebrews 12:2. Now, I'm going to also give you some passages to look up. I'm not going to do the work for you. I'm going to make you work at this, okay? Because I want you to go and I want you to see these passages. And if you haven't read them, it's really important you read them, okay? Here's the passages I want you to look up, okay? I want you to look up John 6. Read through John 6. I want you to read through John 10. Thank you, Rosette, for the hot coffee. John 10. I want you to read John 17. The high priestly prayer, John 17. The reason I'm giving you these because these passages had a phenomenal impact on me when I read them the first time. Of course, Romans 8 and Romans 9. Romans chapter 8, Romans chapter 9. 1 Peter 1, chapter 1, and 1 Peter chapter 2. I also want you to read Ephesians chapter 1 and Ephesians chapter 2. I also want you to read the 41st, the 42nd chapters of Isaiah. And Amos 1:6. And that'll get you started on the project. If you can cover all those words in those passages, it's life-changing, I can tell you. It's life-changing. If you actually study through all those passages and the good Lord works in your heart, you will no longer believe the lies of free will. You will no longer believe. By the way, this book is available on Walmart.com, or you can go to Lulu.com, or you can go to Amazon.com. You can go to numerous sources to get this book. It's only about $8-9, you know, and you can read it through in about 2 hours. Okay? And so anyway, that's what I want you to do. I want you to look at those passages I just gave you, and I want you to go and look at the words I just gave you. There's some very, very important scriptures that you will find if you'll look up those words. Elect, election, high calling, predestination, effectual calling, and then you might want to you might want to do a history study sometime. You might want to do a history study of the following people: Pelagius, James Jacob Arminius, John Wesley, C.I. Schofield, Charles Finney and Dwight L. Moody, Dr. James Dobson, Dr. Bill Bright, Dr. Billy Graham, Dr. Rick Warren, just to name a few. Okay, that'll get your boat loaded. So that's your assignment. God bless.